as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the desolate landscape. My heart raced with a mixture of excitement and fear. It was supposed to be a simple road trip with my closest friends, but as we ventured deeper into the heart of the abandoned road, the thrill of adventure quickly turned into a nightmare. Our group consisted of 5 friends: Jake, Sarah, Alex, Emily, and me, Daniel. We had always been fascinated by the supernatural and the unexplained, so when we heard the legends about the old Oakwood Road, we couldn't resist the temptation to explore it. They said that anyone who dared to travel its winding path would encounter unimaginable horrors, and for some reason, that piqued our curiosity. We parked our cars at the entrance of the road, the tires crunching on the gravel, and stared down the seemingly endless, overgrown path. The moon barely peeked through the dense canopy of trees, casting eerie shadows that danced along the ground. The air was thick with anticipation as we prepared to embark on this sinister journey. "We're really doing this, guys," Jake said, his voice wavering slightly. Sarah, the brave one of our group, flashed a daring grin. "Come on, it's just an old legend. What's the worst that could happen?" With those words, we plunged into the darkness of Oakwood Road. The first mile was uneventful, filled with the rustling of leaves and the occasional hoot of an owl. We joked and laughed, trying to ease the tension that hung in the air like a thick fog. But as we ventured further, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. It wasn't long before we began to hear whispers, faint and barely audible, as if the very forest itself were trying to communicate with us. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end, and I exchanged uneasy glances with my friends. The once friendly banter ceased, replaced by a nervous silence. Suddenly, a bone-chilling scream pierced the air, and we all froze in terror. It wasn't any of us. It came from deeper within the woods. Panic set in, but we couldn't leave whoever was in distress behind. We rushed forward, our flashlights cutting through the darkness like feeble weapons against the unknown. The source of the scream was a clearing that seemed to have been untouched by time. In the center stood a grotesque and mutilated creature, its elongated limbs contorted at unnatural angles. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly malevolence, and its mouth opened in a soundless scream that sent shivers down our spines. We stared in horror, unable to comprehend what we were witnessing. The creature's presence seemed to infect our minds, filling us with an overwhelming dread. It was then that we noticed movement in the shadows, more of these nightmarish beings emerging from the darkness surrounding us. Panic turned to terror as we realized we were trapped. In a desperate attempt to escape, we bolted in different directions, the forest swallowing us up one by one. I could hear my friends' screams echoing through the trees as I stumbled blindly through the inky blackness, my heart pounding in my chest. I ran for what felt like hours, the forest a labyrinth of twisted trees and gnarled roots. Every time I glanced over my shoulder, I caught a fleeting glimpse of those abominations, always just out of reach but never far behind. Exhausted and disoriented, I stumbled into a clearing and collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. It was then that I noticed a peculiar sight, a circle of ancient stones, their surfaces etched with strange symbols. In the center of the circle lay a dilapidated journal, its pages filled with cryptic writings. With trembling hands, I picked up the journal and began to read. It told a chilling tale of a group of explorers who had ventured into the same forest centuries ago, seeking forbidden knowledge. They had made a pact with malevolent entities, granting them otherworldly powers in exchange for their souls. Those who had survived the ordeal had been cursed to wander the forest as mutilated abominations, forever bound to the service of their otherworldly masters. As I read, I realized that I was not alone in the clearing. The creatures emerged from the shadows once more, their eyes fixed on me. But instead of lunging forward, they knelt before me, their hideous forms quivering in submission. I understood then that I had unwittingly stumbled upon the source of their torment, the cursed stones and the journal. The creatures were bound to protect them, and I now held their fate in my hands. A sinister smile crossed my face as a plan formed in my mind. I would use the journal's knowledge to break the curse, to free these tortured souls from their eternal torment. But first, I needed to find my friends and reunite our group. With newfound determination, I left the clearing, my grotesque entourage following closely behind. As I ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, I couldn't help but wonder if we were destined to become legends ourselves, those who had dared to challenge the curse of Oakwood Road. The nightmarish journey that had begun as a thrill-seeking adventure had transformed into a fight for our very souls. But I was determined to confront the horrors of the abandoned road, unveil its secrets, and emerge victorious, no matter the cost. As I pressed on, the true nature of Oakwood Road began to unravel, revealing a world of ancient malevolence and supernatural power. Our lives were now inexorably intertwined with the cursed creatures, and our struggle for survival would test the limits of our friendship and the depths of our courage. And little did we know, the most shocking twists and revelations were yet to come, as we delved deeper into the heart of darkness that lurked within the forsaken road, where the line between reality and nightmare blurred beyond recognition.